boy, with applications at a low right now, there's
Mhm.
just opportunities galore out there.
All right. Tom and I are back for another week of real estate stats here in the Puget Sound region. So let's just run through these real quick. Don't want to waste any time here. I'm going to share my screen and show you what happened. Now this data, it's important to note that it's tracking the first week of July to the 19th, which was yesterday, comparing that against the same time period in the previous month. So we're going to look at that real quick. King County single family homes up 14.8% on the inventory, down 29% on the solds, and down 3.7% on the pendings. And then we look at months of inventory. We've got two roughly currently in King County, up 54%.
Wow.
Over last month.
Wow.
In June. Crazy. And then average price per square foot on the solds down 3%. King County. Oddly enough, year to date, still up 17, almost 18%.
Yeah, I was going to just say, I saw an interview with Diana Olick on CNBC, who, she pointed out that these numbers are down from the previous year, but she goes, you got to keep in mind that overall, without it coming, let's say it came down 5%, it was up 20%. So we're still up 15% overall.
Yeah. And we're going to look at that when we're going to deep dive into Kirkland today.
Okay.
And I'll show you it's a 15-year stretch basically. And we're still hitting the trend line basically for median price.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had about 10 years of growth in about a year.
Yeah, that's about right.
And that's just unsustainable. But good for those people that sold.
Yeah.
And got their money's worth. But anyways. Average days on market, sold price versus list price in King County. You get about 12 days, which is up about 50% over last month. And instead of 103% of list price, you got more of an average of 98% of list price, down 4.9% over June. So that's what we're looking at for King County single family homes. Let's take a look at Snohomish County. We are up 20.4% on the inventory, down 21.9% on the sold sales, and actually up 1.5% on the pendings over last month. So again, going to months of inventory close, we're looking at 2.1% over June, and an increase of about 50% there, just like King County. Which is up 168% year to date. Wow.
Well, we're getting back to normal.
Yeah, we are. We are. You see, just looking at the graphs and things, we're approaching those inventory levels that we saw back in 2018, 2019, which still not a fully balanced market, but it definitely feels more like it.
It's improving.
Average price per square foot in Snohomish County is $403, down from $416, about a 3% drop over the same time period last month. Still up year to date, 23%. Crazy. Snohomish County has seen incredible growth these last couple of years.
Yeah.
Average cumulative days on market, 14 over 10 from last month, about up 40%, and down about 4% on the sold versus list price sale difference. Pierce County, we are up 28% on inventory, down 21% on the sold inventory, and down about 2.1% on the pendings. and about 11% down on the pendings year to date, 103% up year to date from January 22. Crazy. And then months of inventory down in Pierce County, we got again two months, 1.9 up from 1.2 last month, 57% jump there, 117% jump of inventory on the year, up from 0.8 in January. So huge jumps in inventory, sales down. Average price per square foot down in Pierce County, 300, actually down from 313, 4.2% in June. Still 14% year to date. And then same deal with the sold versus list price down in Pierce County. Let's look at Kitsap County real quick, because there, despite popular belief, are some homes out there. We're up 28% on the inventory, down 30% on the sales, and up 11.9% on the pending inventory. That's an interesting difference there. Yeah. You got a lot of people getting pushed out into that area. You want more square footage? You want a lot? Yeah, you want some yard to play in under $1 million. You're going out to Kitsap County, you're going out to Pierce County, Snohomish County. You're going out to those areas. Months of inventory, again, about 2 months, up 75% over last month. So a lot more listings out there, and about 61% year to date increase on the months of inventory and closed sales. Average square foot price, 332, down from 365, about a 9% drop. And they're about 9-10% up year to date, but about 11% up from about a year ago. So they still got a little ways to go. And then sold versus list price, down 1.9%. Still getting an average over 100% of list price out there. So it's a hot market. Just looking at condos real quick. I'm not going to go into too much detail here. King County and Snohomish County and Pierce County are going to be your main, counties for this. Not a lot of condos out in Kitsap County. About up 21% on the inventory. Solds, pendings are down. Similar story here with condos. Still 2 months of inventory here in King County. Average price per square foot is down about 3%, still up 16% on the year. So that's good.
Yep.
And then Snohomish County, we're looking at almost a 40% jump in inventory, 127% jump on the year, and months of inventory about 1.8, which is about an 83% increase over last month's time period, the same time. And average price per square foot, 413, up from 409 about a month ago, about a 1% jump there. Huge jump year to date, 30% average price per square foot year to date. And then Pierce County, we are looking at a little over 43% jump on condos for sale, 50% change year to date, and about 1.6% or 1.6 months, about an 80% jump over last month on the supply side. And then average price per square foot in Pierce County for a condo, it's going to set you back about 373, up about 3.6% from the same time period last month, and about 32% year to date on the condos. So condo market down there is rocking and rolling. And then average days on market, sale price, list price, 1% drop over last month. So not too much change there. Kitsap County, obviously, there's like 42 condos for sale over there in the last couple of weeks. So not really a whole lot going on there for condos. So we're just going to blow past that. Tom, do you have a mortgage update? What are rates doing? What are applications looking like?
Well, yeah, rates are pretty steady right now. We're still sitting right around that 6% mark. We did have a significant jump up closer to 6.5%, but things have ticked back just a little bit. And it all has to do with the Fed announcement for next week. We actually expect that when the Fed, they're going to announce a rate hike. We just don't know whether it's 0.75% or 1%. But either way, I fully expect rates to respond mortgage rates, that is, to respond in a positive manner, meaning I think they'll come down just a little bit once that announcement is made. The rates that jumped last week, closer to 6.5%, was in response to speculation that the Feds would actually raise rates by a full percentage point. And that's always a knee-jerk reaction, right? And so then once they do announce it, usually we'll see the rates, the mortgage rates, tick back just a little bit.
Once everybody has the facts and the fears are.
It's an emotional reaction, people when they hear the Fed's going to raise, when the Feds do raise mortgage rates, that a lot of times causes people to flee the equity market and put their money into the bond market. Okay, when that happens, then we get positive reaction from mortgage-backed securities and mortgage rates. So the fact that they're going to be raising the mortgage or the short-term rates next week, we're looking at, again, another knee-jerk reaction, people pulling money out of the equities and putting them into the bonds, which will bring rates down just a little bit. We're not talking a lot, we're just talking about, might get 1/8 or 1/4 out of it, who knows, but but we're staying pretty steady right now. As far as applications go, this is really interesting. Mortgage applications themselves are at their lowest level in 22 years. That's what it was.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's mortgage applications at their lowest level in 22 years. Okay. My son is 21. So before he was born. So yeah, but here's the thing. I loved seeing that. Now, mortgage applications being low is not necessarily good for me, because I like to have more applications, than not. But I look at it as a huge plus for the consumer who's wanting to go out and buy a home. That just means there's nobody out there looking. It's your chance to get out there and maybe get, maybe not full price, maybe something less than full price, or maybe you can request credits for closing costs from the seller to help buy your mortgage rate down, plus keep money in your pocket from closing. There's all kinds of opportunities now for the consumer who's really serious about trying to buy a house. So that's what I took away. A lot of people take away negatives on reading an article like that mortgage applications are at a 22-year low. I took it as a positive for the consumer.
Yeah. I mean, how long have we been artificially keeping interest rates low?
Well, that's been going on since, they did that during the Great Recession. And for the next 5 years after that, the federal government was artificially keeping the rates down by buying mortgage-backed securities. But then they started to taper. And so rates started to go up a little bit. Then we had the pandemic. And with the market going down, everything just shutting down, the federal government was like, well, we got to stop tapering. We got to go back into the bond buying business. So they did. And by doing that
at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
Too, right?
And billions of dollars. And so by doing that, it artificially kept those rates down, the 2.5% to 3% range. But now they've been tapering that. And once they started tapering, that's when we saw the rates really rocket. And they're still tapering, but we've been able to, because the federal government's been raising the short-term rates to challenge inflation, that's been holding rates right around that 6% mark.
Yeah.
Because it could have gone higher.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's asking me right now, what's your crystal ball say? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, but
there's so many factors at play, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've have expected rates maybe to come down a bit before the end of the year. But when I say come down a bit, I'm not talking about back to 4%.
Oh, we're not going to see that for a while, probably.
You know, maybe we'll get back to 5 or 5.5, you know, but again, going back to what we've talked about before, this is the new normal. And it was, well, in fact, the last time we saw rates at 6%, that's when I was refinancing people who had mortgage rates of 9 and 10%. They were refinancing down to 6%. So, and that was in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, you know, I bought a house in 1999 and I got a 5-year adjustable rate mortgage, and that was at 7.5%. And the reason I did that was because the 30-year fixed was like 8.5%. So I took the lesser rate, but so, I mean, more people are looking into the adjustable rate mortgages now too. So,
yeah. So bottom line, rates around 6%.
Yep.
Roughly.
Applications
down, but
way
that's
down.
a good thing for buyers.
I think it's great. I think it's outstanding. I think anybody who doesn't take advantage and come in and make application with me just to see where they're at and see if they can go out and get something that they want, they need to do it, because boy, with applications at a low right now, there's just opportunities galore out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
We are getting people into contract so easily right now.
Oh yeah.
It is incredible.
Yeah. And getting credits toward closing costs.
Yeah. And inspection contingencies.
Yeah. How about that?
Crazy. Yeah, good times. Well, let's dive into, I want to deep dive into Kirkland, because I've been having people ask me like, hey, will you talk more about some of these neighborhoods? Will you talk more, what's going on in these neighborhoods? Whether it's in,
pick my brain. I'm a lifetime Kirkland resident, so.
Yeah. Was it Bridal Trails?
Bridal Trails, yeah.
Yeah, Bridal Trails, yeah. Yeah, so let's take a look. I put together some stuff here. All right. So Kirkland, if you're not familiar, this is what it looks like. It is east of Seattle. It's bordered on the south by Bellevue, and then to the east by Redmond, and then up north, you got Woodinville, Bothell, Kenmore up there. So it's this little pocket in here. It was incorporated. Tom helped me out back.
Oh boy, you got me off guard on that one.
I think the 80s or 90s.
It was
90s when it was incorporated.
You mean Kirkland, the city?
Yeah.
Oh, it was way before that. It was about in the 80s when they annexed a bunch of the properties to the north.
Yeah.
Like Finn Hill in that area.
Yeah. It's made up of about 14 different neighborhoods. Here they are. I'm just looking at these real quick. You've got Finn Hill, Juanita, Kingsgate, which actually there's some private pools up there. Did you know that?
Yeah. There's several.
Part of the Kingsgate neighborhood.
Yeah, we have friends whose kids swam on those swim teams up there.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's a big draw up there in Kingsgate. You got Totem Lake, which just a couple of years ago they finished that massive renovation of the downtown Totem Lake area there, right off the freeway. Where Guitar Center, I used to go to the Guitar Center there all the time back in the day
at the old mall.
Yeah, that mall was depressing. Holy cow.
Awesome.
It's beautiful now. They have a VR. You can go have this massive VR experience down there. It's got some good restaurants and everything. Cool spots.
It is cool.
And then down south, you got Market, you got Norkirk, or East Market, some people call it. Highlands, North Rose Hill, South Rose Hill, Moss Bay, Everest, Lakeview, and Central Houghton Bridle Trails, where you're from. A lot of stuff going on in Finn Hill and Rose Hill. I see a lot of development going on in those neighborhoods. They're taking single family homes down, putting maybe 2 or 3 in their place. They're on these bigger 8,000-10,000 square foot lots. Definitely, I'd say, based on Kirkland's stated interests in density, I think we'll see that trend continue throughout Kirkland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they're definitely going gung ho on that. Okay, so a little bit of census data for Kirkland. The median age is 37.4. The per capita income 64,000. Median household income $116,000 a year. Definitely skewing more towards that $100,000 to $200,000 per year range. You've only got about 6.4% of people below the poverty line out there in Kirkland, and about 37,000 households with about 2.4 persons per household. This is interesting. About 62% owner occupied out there in Kirkland. Huh. So what that tells me is you got a lot of second homes and you've got a lot of rentals out there.
They have been building a lot of high-rise rentals out there.
Yeah, yeah. Education, over 96% have a high school degree, over 62% have a bachelor's or higher. And this is an interesting stat too. Foreign-born population, 56% from Asia.
Wow.
Which is not surprising when you drive around. It's you see a lot of folks from Asia, a lot of restaurants of the Asian persuasion. And yeah, so that's some demographic data. And major employers out here are going to be Amazon, Microsoft, Infosys, Starbucks, Deloitte, Boeing, Accenture, the U.S. Army, believe it or not.
That's an interesting one. Google
and Nordstrom. So those are kind of your major players out there in the job market, at least the top 10, certainly more than that. But and then let's look at short-term rental data. This is something that people ask me for all the time. 147 short-term rentals currently active in the city limits of Kirkland. About 80% of those are entire home rentals, whether that's a condo or single family home. About 80% of those are the whole shebang. Average 2.1 bedrooms, 4.8 guests in those short-term rentals has seen about a 16% quarterly growth and 32% rental available full time. The way they get this data is if it's available over 180 days a year is basically where they come up with that number. And this is from AirDNA, this data. Let's look at long-term rentals. These are averages, but your single family home, I took a 3-bed, 1.5 bath example. And that average rent is about $3,400, give or take about 2%. Condo, 2-bed, 1.5 bath, average rent is about $2,962 a month, give or take about 2%. So big numbers there.
Yeah.
You can definitely find, I knocked on a door one time in Kirkland and was a rental, and they told me how much they were paying for it. It was about $9,000 a month.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a 4-bedroom, 4-bath home with a view. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Boy, another reason to buy.
Yeah. Right. Still probably less than a mortgage, but you don't get to take advantage of any of the benefits.
Right.
Of
the equity you're building.
A homeowner. And this is, this is going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's the nice thing is when you buy, your payment's locked in, right?
yeah,
You know, nobody can raise the mortgage on you unless, well, I mean, obviously the county can raise property taxes, but as far as your actual
we
mortgage
should
payment
cover
goes,
that in a video one time. Property taxes. This is a thing that I don't think a lot of people quite understand.
yeah,
Because the state in general has a 1% cap on your property taxes. They can't just arbitrarily go, well, we're going to charge Tom, an extra 3%. This is not going to happen.
right.
There's limits that they've been placed on our state, local governments. But where they can arbitrarily raise your property taxes is through levies. So you vote in that, fire emergency services levy for like whatever it is, 6 cents increase or something, get enough of those over time. Yeah, your property taxes are going to increase probably more than that 1%. So anyways, let's look at median home prices for single families. We had an increase, this is in the last 10 years, of 207% just in Kirkland. Now that's about a 20.7% annual return on investment there. And just looking at this graph here, see if I can zoom in. Maybe not. Pretty decent increase.
Yep.
Over time. Notice this spike here in March 2022 when the median home price in Kirkland hit $1.5 million and just absolutely dropped. Or sorry, it was 1.8 in February. 1.8, almost 1.9 in February, median home price in Kirkland. Still not quite as high as Bellevue, but look at the drop to June, 1.3. Now in June 2022.
How does that compare to the same time last year?
Well, the same time last year, June. So we got June 2022, 1.3, June 2021, 1.462.
So we're down a little bit.
So we're down. But as you can see,
the trend line is up.
The trend line over time is up. For all those people treating real estate like they do equities in the stock market, it's going to be tough for you to make money. So real estate's a long game. Play it right. Get into something, that you're not going to have to move from in, 2 years.
Right.
Because chances are,
if you do get in, and actually buying in Kirkland for the long game is pretty simple in the sense that if you have kids, Lake Washington School District's an outstanding school district, great hospitals, fire department's great there. Kirkland, more parks per capita than any other city in the country. So there's a lot there for, if you buy in Kirkland, there's just a lot there to keep you there.
Got top schools. Top schools in the school district. We got Lake Washington. Definitely above average. At least according to great schools. Now, school information is subjective. It depends on what you're looking for, but cool stuff. Now let's look at condos. Increase of 140, almost 2%, 142% in the last 10 years, about a 14.2% average ROI. Still outperforming most things. Look at this. June 2022, between Bellevue, Kirkland, Seattle, Tacoma, kind of all right around the same now.
Yeah.
Bellevue obviously has
Little
some
bit higher.
pretty pricey
Yeah.
high-rise condos in the downtown area, and get a little bit higher median price there. But yeah, it's starting to meet in the middle there. But yeah, condos not quite as great on the ROI front, but
It's
over
a good way to get
time,
in.
you can see, it's definitely increasing there in the Kirkland area. And then let's just go over some major projects that I pulled in the Kirkland area. We've got this. This is a huge project here. So this is on 85th. Let me zoom in here. This is on 85th and 122nd here in Kirkland. So here you see 85th Street. That runs east and west, 122nd, north and south, 120th. The Costco is right down to the south of 100, or the west of 120th here. And where's the big picture here? Here it is. Rose Hill mixed use. Pretty cool. Wow. There's going to be what was the estimates? 633,000 square feet of residential. Whether that's, it's probably going to be mostly apartments. And then 195,000 square feet of commercial. And about 1,000 parking spots.
Jeez. Well, that's right across the street from Costco, right?
It's right across the street from Costco. So if you look at kind of this aerial site map, Costco's right here next to 405. And then just to the east of that, like where so on here, the corner, it looks like they weren't able to get the
U-Haul place.
The U-Haul place bought there, but that's where that is. You got the Outback Steakhouse. I think there's a PetSmart over there, QFC or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little strip mall right there. It's that'll be really nice. It'll probably look a lot like that Totem Lake downtown area.
As I understand it, they're building a big transit center right
yes
at that off ramp on 405 right there.
That's definitely out past 2040 delivery.
Oh, is that right?
But right now, and we'll look at that too. That's actually next. South Kirkland to Issaquah link extension. This is a 2041 delivery estimate. And it has voter approvals, it's part of the funding package and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And $90 million is their forecasted budget on that. But that'll be super cool. So this is going to go to South Kirkland. They not identified an actual station location yet. But going back to 85th Street, yes, Google actually is in agreement to purchase that property there that Lee Johnson owns.
Right.
Yeah.
Chevrolet dealer.
Yeah. So here's a news article from 425 Business talking about it. But yeah, they're expanding over that area. And that was part of the whole draw to that 85th Street interchange there at 405 was that station that they were planning on putting in there. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah.
A lot of other major projects around town, but those are kind of the biggest ones. There's some trail improvements and, paving and all the regular stuff. So you can check that out in the show notes. And I just want to go over the population data for Puget Sound Regional Council here. In the next 10 years, so by 2030, they're estimated to be about 4.8 million people here in Kingston, Holmish, Pierce, and Kitsap counties, which is up about 600,000 from 2020 when they last recorded. These cities, Kirkland, Bellevue, these east side cities. They're all planning for this. So you're going to see a lot more of these, mixed use, like higher density type projects here on the east side. Still going to be an amazing place to invest because it's only going to go up.
Yeah.
So
there's only so much room.
Yeah. And you can get, going back to the map here in Kirkland, there are a lot of single story, two-story with basement, split levels, 60s, 70s, 80s out here, especially Rose Hill, Kingsgate, Inglewood, Finn Hill area. A lot of homes there. And a lot of them, as I'm driving around to showing appointments and whatnot, noticing a lot of them have some deferred maintenance. So getting into a home and updating the paint, the layout, putting in some sweat equity into these homes can really be a good way to get into something out in these areas if you can't afford the brand new, $2 million 4-bedroom home out there in Kirkland. So that's Kirkland. I don't have anything else. Keep it short and sweet today. And appreciate you stopping by. Remember to like, comment, share, and tell all your friends about it. And love to hear what you guys think about this information. Is it helpful? Is it stupid? Do you even care about it? I know this stuff can be kind of boring sometimes, but that's our job. At least, my job as a real estate agent, Tom's job, stay up to date on the data. So we like to share that with you guys, and hopefully you find it useful if you're thinking about moving to or investing in any of these areas in King County that we talk about a lot. Yeah, so appreciate the feedback.
Give us a shout.
Yeah. Tom, I want to thank you for joining me yet again, another week.
Thank you, Spencer.
It's good to see your beautiful face. And I've got to get out there to Walla Walla and visit you guys again soon.
Yeah, I know. It's always nice to see, a guy with hair.
Maybe I'll make you a wig one of these days.
What's that?
Cool. I'll make you a wig one of these days.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Thanks, Spencer.
All right. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Take care.
See ya.